Warning, this podcast contains spoilers.
Hello everyone and welcome to the ASOTV podcast for the Vampire Diaries, Season 7, Episode 20, Metallica. I mean, kill 'em all. Same thing. Metallica title. I'm your host Dom. With me, we have Nikki, Giggles, and Mike.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good, I know exactly what they're giggling at.
I don't.
Now you realize why I have chat closed during our intro.
Chat. Oh, don't worry, Dom. Just dress in a solid red suit. He'll never see you coming. Is that because you're colorblind?
You know that's exactly why he made that joke.
So let me get this straight.
Come on, lay it on.
If I wore a red suit, that's because you can't see red, so I'd be invisible?
Isn't that how that works? Didn't we talk about this before? That if it's red,
I don't think we've ever discussed it on camera before.
Oh, yeah.
We have.
So, what would you ladies think of this episode? When in doubt, pinky out, Mike.
Oh, right. I'm sorry. Dignified, there's rum in this.
Yes, there you go.
This episode.
Stuff.
I mean,
What'd you say, D?
Stuff.
escalated to the ending way too quick.
Hmm.
We know we've known about what the vault is. We just barely found out what might be in it. We've had like speculations, and then all of a sudden, Bonnie's there, opening it up. Like that's how it felt to me when I was watching it. Yeah, you know, they got the armory involved with killing the vampires that Raina had listed and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It just seemed to happen really quickly. Like they're killing vampires, and
Let
then
me
15 minutes later, Bonnie's there.
Just before we get to the armory and everything in that, can I just ask you guys about these vampires real quick?
Go on.
I don't know what the fuck is going on. Like, are they vampires?
Some of them, yeah.
Because they're out in the daylight without any rings. How are they vampires?
Oh, good point.
Right?
Because
If they're not vampires, if they're human, how do they have super strength to be able to fight these other guys when Stefan didn't have any of this? When he was in that body.
I'm gonna go back to my original thing of, when the Phoenix Stone shatters, like, oh, how many bodies are actually lying around, readily available? How many vampire bodies are lying around readily available? Now you're gonna even stretch my imagination further. How many vampire bodies are lying around unattended with daylight rings?
They don't have daylight rings, though. I looked specifically at their hands.
So you're going to make me believe that, all of these stars converge in a line for hundreds of vampire souls? Get the fuck out of here.
Right?
Okay.
So if
whoever
they're
wrote
not...
this episode really, really, really needs to talk to Julie before they, confirm that this is what they're going with.
Right, so let me ask you this. If they're not vampires, and let's just say they got the super strength somehow, right? Let's suspend all disbelief. Why do they have to be staked in the heart?
Because they're...
Well, they're not really...
Or have their hearts ripped out, one of the two.
Well, maybe that's just
to
that
make
they're
sure they're
normally...
dead.
It sounded like at the beginning that one of them came back. Like they didn't completely kill him. He was like, we don't have enough time to kill them more than once. So something happened in that situation.
We see them feeding on people too. Like maybe not this episode, so to speak, but last episode we did. Like the tavern in which they went in to get Bo, like and the I'm Bo. They were feeding on people in there.
Those were, but not all of them are. Like obviously the ones that were doing the tattoo stuff were not, but they were also in there in the middle of the day. But we had the one guy that they were specifically teaming up for because he was a UFC fighter, is what they were saying.
MMA, but yeah.
And MMA,
MMA,
yeah.
or yeah, but
he was hiding out in that building. He wasn't outside.
Yeah, he wasn't outside.
I mean, they're
But he
keeping
had
a consistent...
super strength.
He was a vampire. Well, he's trained as an MMA fighter. He was okay. The reason why they went after him is because he was leaving a trail of bodies. That's how they found him. But he
The
Yeah.
was hiding out in the building.
the only thing I could think of, is that all of these guys, vampires inhabiting these bodies, are in transition. It's the only solution that somewhat makes sense because
So
they'd have the strength.
because they're
They,
changing.
yeah,
It's like their new.
I don't know if we have any definitive, because to my knowledge, I can't recall any definitive proof of people in transition having issues with the sun.
No, they get headaches and
Yeah,
it's just
it's not yet.
it's kind of
Yeah,
irritating, but it doesn't affect them like
Because remember
wake 'em up.
Vicky, she was like dancing in the sun and stuff when she was changing. She wasn't changed yet. I
yeah.
just remember that from the beginning. The first
The first season. Yeah.
So
And then poof.
maybe they're all in transition. That's the only logical explanation that I can have for this.
They need to explain it.
They do.
They're not going
not
to
going
because
to.
they're all dead now or something, but I mean,
It was definitely a device for like plot. I don't know how to exactly put this. It was, made up on the spot to provide an extra little bit of drama. Like, okay, we could give
Right.
Bonnie Raina's extra life, but she's not going to give it over willingly. Why not? Because all those vampire souls are still alive. Oh, but how did they get into like available vampire bodies, and how are they running around in the daylight? And, how are there hundreds of vampire bodies around? It's like, don't care. It'll create drama. Let's hope the fans don't notice.
too much to explain. Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
too much to explain.
Because if they didn't have super strength, I would totally be like, okay, well, they're just humans. Just like Stefan was.
My only theory that I could have, and this goes to my little headcanon of Elijah having, suit vaults all over the world, is that Klaus had spare body vaults all over the world. Because he used to do, like, body jumping.
yeah.
But they still weren't wearing rings, and they're out in the day, so.
Yeah,
All right, yeah, so that was a prop department mistake then.
not even that. It's just, that was a whole like plot hole story thing that they did wrong.
Yeah.
And
But-
it would take somebody like Dom to figure that out, point it out, so that because I never really gave a shit at
Yeah.
that like, and now I'm like, this is horrible, this is terrible. I don't even know.
Yeah. It's super frustrating to me. So, like I said, the only thing that I can think of that makes sense is being in transition. It kind of solves most of the problems
We
with
could
that.
sit here for 2 hours talking about this, and it still won't make sense.
Well, transition kind of does make sense. So,
It gives
But-
it, yeah. It
yeah,
uses-
but what I thought was cool is, because it was a whole plot device to give Bonnie the second life, which we realize, as the shaman ceremony is going on, that Bonnie is gaining Raina's burden. Right? Her whole
Now,
lifestyle of hating vampires, right?
do you think that was intentional and Reina planned it that way, or that's the way it was always going to be, and she just dropped the bombshell as it was happening, being like, "Bitches."
I think she planned it. I think she planned it that way.
I don't think she planned on them coming up with the solution of, hey, take my life, but I think when the opportunity was brought to her, she was like, sure, because this will
Yeah.
get revenge on Damon as well.
That's what I
Okay.
mean when she meant plan. Like planning
Another
it after it came to her. Yeah.
Yeah.
Another question. Now, does Reina's ability make her blood poison to witches, or is just Reina's blood in the like from the get-go poisonous witches? Because if you transfer this over to Bonnie, who is a witch, and it is the ability that makes the abilities in the life that makes her blood poison, doesn't that does that make Bonnie not a witch anymore? Does it like
That's a
Step out
good
her
question.
magic?
That's a good question. I'm assuming Bonnie's still going to be a witch. But I think the blood is poisonous to other witches. I don't think it's going to be poisonous to herself.
No, she's
It's,
going to...
it's the same way that Klaus is able to carry the werewolf venom and serum and not kill himself with
That's
it. Because
genetic,
but he's also a vampire, so it technically should be lethal to him.
Or
So,
just extremely toxic.
yeah. So I think it functions that way, where it's just immune to the
carrier?
the carrier.
Bonnie's going to be the new type of hybrid. Because we've had how many different hybrid things? First it was hybrid werewolf vampires, then it was the heretics. Now it's going to be the witch super shaman warrior.
But it's interesting now to see that, you know, Bonnie's relationship with Enzo is really going to go to shit now because of this. Because
If
she's
sh-
going to despise him. She's going to hate him. She's not going to have a
Not in
choice.
the beginning. I think it's gonna work up, and it's just gonna like be a fireball of hate. Whereas like it's building up, it's building up, it's building up, and then boom.
We're going back to season 1 Bonnie. Do you remember how bad
She hated.
she
him.
hated vampires in season 1?
It's
She wouldn't even talk to Caroline, who was her own best friend.
gonna be so much worse.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Oh.
Because now she's driving to not ignore them like she was in season 1. I don't want to
The-
talk about it. I don't want to do. She's going
She's-
to want to kill them.
There's that, but she's not gonna be like Reina crazy, where all the souls are in her head because
Reina
they're all dead, right? That's what we're
Most of them.
assuming. We're
Stefan's
assuming
still alive, obviously. So.
he's not marked anymore. The
Hmm.
mark is gone. He's not. It's and the sword's gone, so she has to kill them with conventional means. She can't put them into a gem or anything anymore. Like that sword, the gem, it's gone. The stone.
She can
So
create a new one. She's a
she
witch.
could. She is a witch, but I mean, why? Like if something like that
Why?
happens. No, 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 no. Let's just shush. If she makes another stone and someone happens to destroy it, it's a Reina situation all over again. And
She's right.
so why would she do that to herself? Then it's just like being the anchor again, where she had all these souls going through her. I don't think she wants to do that. She's done it already. Like I said, she was the anchor. She had the whole experiencing everyone's death coming through her.
Mhm.
It's basically the same thing. It's gonna make her fucking nuts. I don't see why. It seems like I mean, yes, she wants to kill, but she's gonna harness some abilities. She's gonna have the huntress stuff and the warrior, like Mike said. She's gonna gain strength and the drive. I don't think she needs a sword and a stone to kill vampires.
Okay,
A
Merlin.
sword in a stone.
Hey, Merlin. What the hell? No, I don't know. I think she'll create some kind of place to put them. I do. I don't think she's gonna outright.
I mean,
You mean kind
That's
of like a prison world,
Yes, exactly like a prison world.
like Kai?
Kind of. Yeah.
Do you think she's going to go to to Caroline's kids and try to figure something out there?
Maybe.
Because they're Gemini, and Gemini made the prison world.
Yeah.
The
Oh.
multiple.
No. Gemini did not. The Bennetts did.
No, the Gemini made Kai's world, and the Gemini made the world that Lily was in with all her heretics.
Thought it was a Bennett spell, which is how her and Damon got sent there in the first place.
No, what happened was Grams sent Bonnie, kind of put her extra power onto Bonnie, so if she died or something bad happened to her, she went to another place, not the other side, because the other side was crumbling.
Right, but I don't know.
It
I
was
thought the
it
whole
was it was
thing
a
that they sent
safeguard
there
for
was 'cause it
Bonnie,
was-
and because
it's-
Bonnie and Damon were holding hands, they both went together.
Yeah, I thought the Geminis worked with the Bennett witches to create that place. That's
Gemini-
what I could have remembered. I swear, I'm almost positive on that.
I don't think so. I think they're completely different entities. Like the Bennetts were kind of secluded, whereas the Gemini had sticks up their asses and were very egotistical coven.
Yeah, it's safe to assume the Bennett witches are involved in everything, even if they're not. Just say they are. That's pretty much what they do in every episode. I'm waiting for the
Their sticky
originals to pull
fingers
that
and
up.
everything.
It's not even them sticking their fingers; it's people borrowing from them. But the Gemini maybe might have borrowed a teensy bit of a Bennett spell, but it was them who did it. But it was Grams who safeguarded Bonnie and was sent her to a prison world instead of the crumbling other side, because that's when everything was going to hell. Because
Yeah.
the travelers.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know because it says right here the worlds can only be accessed by using the Ascending combined with the blood of a Bennett witch.
Well, that's a key. It doesn't mean they made the prison.
Ah.
Yeah, I don't know.
So how
There's
about that
more tied
vault?
to that. No, not
Okay.
the vault. We I just want what are the repercussions now of Enzo? What the hell? Because Enzo is so hell-bent on, like, trying to accept that Bonnie's gone, right? It's just like, nope, that's it. She's gone. And Damon's like, no. I had to make these hard choices. The hard choices that you couldn't make because she would resent you forever.
He's
Right?
like, I'm the asshole. I'm gonna continue to be the asshole. This is what I do. So let me do it while you
Well,
still are. You know.
it's true, Damon, you are an asshole, and you did make the hard decisions, and now Enzo's gonna have to pay because, we know how much he respects women and how much he just falls headfirst into love because he's done that a couple times. And now for something that seems really true for him and he accepts Bonnie, and now that's gonna go to shit. He's gonna be so angry. It's gonna be another like I'm going to kill you like he would after Stefan.
Well, I don't think so. I think Enzo realizes now after what Damon said, because he didn't argue with him after the fact, because Damon's like, no, look, I made these hard choices. You couldn't make them. If you did make them, Bonnie would hate you, and you know it. So let her hate
Okay.
me because she could not hate me
That
anymore.
conversation was before Reina dropped the bombshell that Bonnie is gonna get the burden of hating vampires and wanting to kill them. So once like Bonnie starts giving into this, because it's gonna happen, Enzo's gonna lose his shit because it was Damon who made the decision for Reina to give the life over to Bonnie.
Yeah.
Again, Damon sticks his fucking foot
But
in
there's
In the
there's a
shit.
simple solution to all of this. There's a simple solution to all that, and it lies with the vault, right? Because
Now we're
in the
talking about the
vault, huh?
I said, now we're talking about the vault.
Yes, now we're talking. This is where I was leading up to, because we have the vault, right? And inside the vault is this ancient evil, right? It's some crazy supernatural force. It's an entity, no physical manifestation, but it's an entity
that we know of.
that turns you into a basically a psychopath, a sociopath. It takes your empathy, right? And we were right. Yvette is not alive.
As soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, we fucking called that.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, bitch. To, what's her name? Alexis?
Right.
Yeah.
Alex, yeah.
Alex.
Something
Yeah.
like I said, something was mimicking her voice.
So, I
like,
mean,
you're
wouldn't
so
wouldn't a
dead.
simple solution to take away, her feeling of hate toward vampires to go and get all of your empathy removed? Then you couldn't hate vampires anymore.
Nah.
Empathy is to care and to
Yeah, that would
Yeah.
be
feel
worse.
And what do
where
you think hate is? Hate is a very strong
No,
feeling.
this is a whole nother thing. It's not like taking your emotions away. It's taking away your conscience, your caring, your
yes,
your
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 kindness, your
your thing of deciding what's right and wrong. It would make her worse.
You still
yeah,
have
it would.
emotion. You just
It
lose the ability to feel nice things for other
it would
Yeah.
people.
make her worse only for the fact that she'd be taking everybody out, not just vampires.
Like,
Well, yes, but how does
Huh.
that make her better?
It doesn't, no.
At
It would make
at
it
this
interesting.
I
at
think
But
it
this
would
point,
remove the burden, and it would just offer a solution elsewhere that they'd have to come up with to cure her from that. But I dare offer another solution for this.
well, I mean, at this point, I think she can still, like we saw Arena, she can resist. It wasn't something that she just like automatically I kill her vampire
yeah,
because
she was.
she resisted. Like she's like, well, Stefan, you're not a bad vampire. I don't really want to kill you. I want to kill your brother. Your brother's an asshole.
but I'm gonna
So
kill you anyway because it'll make me feel good.
yeah,
My my other solution to this lies within what is in the armory. What did we find out is in the armory this episode?
That
Besides,
stupid thing that
besides the
Alark
vault.
had.
that
He was
Emily
Indiana Jonesing over.
The lapis stabilo. I don't necessarily think that per se, but there's so many artifacts in there.
There's
One of them
also,
has to help.
It's a
One of them has to
vault.
help. It is a vault full of all of these crazy relics, things that shouldn't even exist, right? The only example we got was lapis stabilo, which was given to Charlemagne from his first wife and helped him conquer a half of Western Europe. That's all the information we got. There's so many other objects in there one of them has to help Bonnie, which would be the most interesting plot device since she just sealed everybody the fuck inside.
No
So,
one's getting out.
this entity is not going to be able to get out, right? We know it's going to get out.
Of course we do.
Right? There's no way they would set this up and just lock it up in there and we never see it again. That's not going to happen.
See, all these
So-
artifacts, they remind me of the dark objects from the originals, so I feel like it's a reused plot device, and I I didn't think anything of it. Like, oh, it's an amulet from the Victorian era, whatever era it was. I'm not interested. Like, Alaric
Right.
is being a dumbass.
I'm getting a very Assassin's Creed vibe from all of this. Like, oh look, here's a piece of Eden. With it, George Washington conquered the British during the
said it-
Revolution.
Caroline said it this episode when she said that Alaric was Indiana Jonesing.
Yeah.
That's exactly what this is. And this is before Assassin's Creed and all that. And Dark Object. Well, technically, theoretically, not before Dark Objects, because those were created whenever before
Cole
Indiana
made them
Jones
whenever he
existed.
wanted to.
But, the originals came after Indiana Jones, so they're,
Yeah,
you know what
I
I
know.
mean. But, yeah, so I feel like that's going to be the solution to this. They're going to have to
Yeah,
go
well-
into the vault and retrieve one of these artifacts.
We only have like 2 more episodes, right?
Yeah.
I think we have exactly 2.
So
3.
Oh, it goes to 23 this season?
I'm pretty sure it does.
Okay.
I mean, however many more, 2 or 3, that entity's getting out at the end of this season.
Oh,
And that's going
100%.
to be the cliffhanger, which is not going to be a cliffhanger because I just called it.
No,
for-
only 22.
To lead into the next
Hi.
season. So I don't know. They're being really transparent. I don't know if that's because they think that the show's ending or that was going to end, that it wasn't going to get another season. And maybe that's why Ian was kind of word vomiting at one point. But like, I don't know. Like the season, the beginning to middle was great, and now it just seems like they're dragging their asses.
I don't know, because I think this is going to be very interesting to find out who exactly is going to be affected, because all we have are the people involved in the armory right now, right? Those are the only people that are caught. They're all human.
Mm-hmm.
So, could care less about them. It's going to be whoever has to go into the vault to retrieve this object. It's going to be one of the people we know
Alaric.
is going to go in and
Ooh.
become the villain for next season.
Going to be Alaric.
See, that right there
no.
is going to make things
Not
interesting.
Alaric.
What
No.
would
Want
be
him
more
to be a
interesting for
crazy-
me would be
Son of
is
a
if it
bitch.
was Damon.
No.
No, I like the
Damon.
Alaric idea. That would make me
We've
really...
already had Alaric as a villain like 3 times.
We've already
It
had
doesn't
Damon
have
as
to
some
be a
kind of a
villain.
villain.
Damon's, yeah.
And
Technically,
Damon,
I think Damon is always a villain.
Damon's the anti-hero.
it's
Alaric
is.
has been the actual villain like 3 times.
and I loved him as the villain.
Now just
And
imagine...
the whole thing with Caroline and the kids would make it so much worse. Because he loves his kids, he loves Caroline, but once that happens, once he gets taken over, he doesn't love them anymore. He wants to kill everything.
Once his empathy is stripped away, he will use his kids as decoys, targets,
Weapons, yeah, there you go.
bait.
Siphoners.
Yeah,
He would use them as freaking weapons if he could.
Yeah.
At that point, I think Alaric would be the most interesting to see.
And it would give a good cop-out reason for Caroline and Alaric to break up.
It would.
Which is sad because they just had like a moment this episode.
That's probably why.
You mean
Exactly
the
what
moment of which they both are like, hey, we can get out of this marriage down the road because you still like Stefan and I want to become Indiana Jones.
That's not how that. What?
That's basically how that went. Caroline's like, we get locked up and trying to get out, and the only way you're gonna come for me is by talking about all these artifacts that you're hunting around the world.
They had a later conversation. That was that conversation that they were having at that moment in time.
They did have a more endearing conversation
Yeah,
near the end, but
He made her,
Caroline's clearly not over Stefan.
no, definitely not.
And Alaric said he doesn't want to do it until she is.
And I think it if Stefan wasn't showing any interest in her, like wasn't trying to be at her doorstep, wanting her back, she wouldn't even question it. She'd be married to Alaric already. But because he came back and he was expecting her to welcome him with open arms, is the reason why she is kind of apprehensive.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I don't know. Having a Lark go in and losing all his empathy would be really awesome. Because
Sad. I'm Team
then
Lark.
because then it gives Stefan room to be able to comfort Caroline, and her actually not have her guard up.
Mhm.
So it'd be interesting. It would. I
I've
only
never
say
been all
I
about
only
Stefan
say
Caroline.
Damon because
Never been.
I've been sick of Damon for the last like 3 seasons since he fell in love with Elena, and I just want the old Damon back.
Yeah.
So
Season 1
stripping
Damon.
his empathy would be the perfect way to get that. So that's why I say I want Damon like that. But
To be the
Alaric
big
would
I don't.
overarching villain.
I mean, the only person who would work to save him at this point would be Stefan, and even Stefan's like, "I hate you." So
What
like,
if it was off the wall? What if it was Caroline?
that would be just as interesting. Caroline would be just as interesting as Alaric, to be honest.
we've seen bits of Caroline where she turns off her emotion.
Mm-hmm.
So
But
that's a
it's never been a villain. We've never seen her be the overarching, like,
Right.
complete.
no, but
every-
she's been an anti-hero too at points. Like even
Yeah.
in the smallest bit, like when she first turned into a vampire, she was a little cunt.
Yeah.
And like when her mom died, she turned off her emotions. She went on a rampage. There was all those little bits where you've seen the
Yeah.
angry side
I
of
mean,
Caroline.
that was like a side plot though. Like Alaric, at least, he's been the main story villain at least 2 other times.
And it
Uh,
worked well.
one one of
So why
which
not do it
was
again?
when he was the original vampire,
Yeah,
and one of which was when he was Klaus. You
right.
know, so um, yeah, I don't know. I wanna see somebody else get the reins. So I'd actually like to see Caroline more than Alaric, but Alaric would still be really entertaining. But I don't know. And then we kind of had this little side plot that it wasn't as interesting as I thought it was going to be, but it definitely went in a direction that I didn't expect it. And that was Matt and Penny.
Well, I mean, they had
Oh
to
yeah, we have.
explain Penny's death at some point, and
Right,
there
right.
they
We knew
did
that.
it.
Right,
And
we knew
okay,
that, but we expected it to be, a vampire or,
an
or,
accident, a car accident or something, like something's expected,
right,
not Matt accidentally shooting her.
right, which
I
went in a completely different direction than what I was expecting.
right,
So
and
bravo for them.
I mean, leading up to this, we're talking 10 episodes ago. It's like Matt's hard on for killing Stefan here, or utter hatred for Stefan. I was expecting that Stefan did it for whatever reason, like impaled her, ripped her head off, ate her because he went on a hunger spree. I don't know,
Became a Ripper again.
something like that. This was just completely out of left field. Like
What if it's Matt that becomes the bad guy?
he would finally be interesting. He would no longer be token human character for 7 seasons.
I mean, if you think about it though, Matt kind of was the villain this whole time, right?
He set Reyna loose.
Mm,
He was the one
He
who
threw all the vampires out of Mystic Falls.
he flicked the first
He
domino.
Yeah, he did. He
Yeah,
set everything into motion.
but it'd be really
He
interesting.
released Reyna to kill Stefan.
God damn it, Donovan.
But what if he? What if he? But I think it would be interesting to see him as like a main-ish character. I mean,
Like
I
a
mean,
supernatural entity of some sort.
it
And,
is a
and this
supernatural
a
entity, but
poltergeist for whatever the fuck it is.
does it
You
give you
know?
supernatural powers? We know it changes your personality and makes you freaking crazy, but does it give you super strength? Does it make you
They're gonna have a
sneeze?
whole they're
Like,
gonna have a whole season off to figure all that out,
that's true, but I'm thinking if it's Matt, we know Matt, he's the token human character. I'm surprised he survived this long. I mean, he has died a few times, but thanks to the Gilbert ring, he's back.
Mhm.
So if he's just crazy and killing people because he's crazy, and that's all the supernatural entity does, he's weak. He's
well, so
easily
is
just
Alaric.
someone could sit
There's got to be more to it, because otherwise they could just run up and snap his neck.
Rob
Yeah.
and snap his neck. Shoot him. Anything.
Damon would
Yeah.
run up and snap his neck.
To be honest, I think the entity possesses, and if its host dies, it just jumps to a new host, and new host, new host, or it's
Oh, it
just
becomes
a
a-
mass, like a mist kind of thing, where it can mass possess and make a lot of killers. Maybe that's why, you know, I don't know.
Maybe that's what it's doing in there. Maybe it just possesses all of the people already in the building, so then they all just become you have like a multiples. So
And
that's when
then
they open the doors. We have like all of these people that are like. So how many
it's
people
like
did Bonnie lock in there?
At least 5.
at least 5. It's like
Minimum
4 to
5.
6 feet. 4 to 6
So-
feet.
They become a group, become the entity. So that's what we got going on.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think if it were capable of spreading over or spreading to more than one person, it would make it even more dramatic and interesting. If it's just one person, like we're thinking one person, Olar, Caroline. What if it
Well, I'm thinking more
takes
of the big
over?
bad for next season, but
Yeah,
yeah, I'm
Disease.
at least right now I'm expecting every single person that's locked in the armory right now to be infected.
And then they can pass it on to other people. It's like I said, so it's like a disease.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
Sure.
Do you
Mhm.
think it's kind of connected to what took Catherine?
Could be.
Because we know Catherine was taken into a darkness. She just didn't like.
Could be. I would like to see the return of Catherine when Nina Dobrev decides to come back. I don't want just Elena back. I want Catherine back as well.
Catherine was such an interesting character.
What if this? What if we just get what if we get Catherine back, and we won't get Elena till like the end when everyone's dead?
I would love for them to just announce, oh, by the way, Nina Dobrev decided to come back, and we've kept it under wraps this whole time.
She's like, no, oh god, no.
I think they're
If the last scene is the darkness entering Elena's body and her waking up, because that would be really cool. Is if it's somehow possessed into Elena's body and now she's walking around possessed by this entity, not as Elena, but just
Wait,
as her body.
wait,
That would
wait.
be really cool.
Didn't the armory obtain Elena's body at
Mm.
one point?
Enzo hid it. We don't
Enzo
know
hid
where
it.
Enzo put it, and we could assume that could be in the armory.
Wouldn't that be interesting if that's what happens? That our overarching like
That is the
evil
only
is Elena.
That'd be the only way I would accept Nina coming back. Okay?
That would be fantastic. I don't think that's gonna happen at all.
No, but
that
oh my
would be
god, that's an
fantastic.
amazing idea.
Especially if next season is going to be the last.
And they
that would
confirmed
be
that she's
kind
been
of
coming back the last season, right?
yeah, that would be a good way of going out. Well, she said when originally she left, she said she'd come back for the last episode, kind of thing, and that's why they didn't just outright kill her off. Locked her away so they can get her back, because there's no way they're going to be able to end this story on a good note and not have Elena waking up, unless they're just like the last scene is like a CGI Elena's face, and they just open the eyes, and that's the very last scene. That's the only way they get away with that if Nina refuses to come back, because there's no way you could end the show without Elena waking up and you being happy about it. Like Nikki will say yes. Nikki will say yes because she doesn't like the character Elena, but for everybody that's invested in this show, like the whole show to them has been about Elena. We've proven, this season alone that the story can get by without Elena, maybe a few mentions here and there, but everybody's still expecting Elena to wake up at some point. So you can't end the series without Elena waking up.
Well, I mean, Bonnie is gonna die eventually, so
There is that.
that means Elena wakes up.
Yep. Yep. You guys have anything else for this episode?
No.
Just a bunch of speculation that I've already gone
Yeah.
over. So
Yeah. Well, unlike this last week, the song it's not by Metallica
Sad.
this time. The song is called "Requiem for a Dream,"
Okay.
which, to my knowledge, is not even a song. It is definitely a movie. Could be a song. I
Is it a?
think there was a song in the movie called Requiem for a Dream, actually.
I mean,
So the next episode's
Google.
about.
It's about you.
Okay, cool.
Your mom. That's
Oh,
what this
wow.
episode.
Wow. Um, uh, the plan to save Bonnie takes an unexpected turn in this episode, which is directed by Paul Wesley, by the way. When Damon's risky attempt to save Bonnie takes an unexpected turn, the consequences of his actions forces everyone to band together to help her pull through. Meanwhile, when a new threat leaves Caroline's life in jeopardy, Stefan makes a rash decision that ultimately forces them to face the fallout from their relationship.
Dum dum
Elsewhere,
dum.
Enzo tries to hold it together as he painfully watches Bonnie in the fight of her life, while Matt takes matters into his own hands to save one of his closest friends.
Okay.
So, there's a lot of saving going on next episode.
Sounds like a lot put into one episode that doesn't really need to be put into an episode.
Sounds like a lot of setup for the finale. That's what it sounds like to me.
I'll go with that.
Yeah. I mean, are they gonna they're gonna focus on Bonnie, right? And are they going to even
I think half of the things that they described is what Bonnie's doing to the other people.
okay, and then
A new threat that
the
leaves Carolife's life in jeopardy.
are they
That's
gonna
the big point.
even hint towards what's gonna happen in the armory? I mean, are they just focusing on Bonnie and what's going on there and, maybe side mentions of the armory and be like, "Oh yeah, there's something in there, just stay away." And like, "Oh yeah, let's go save Bonnie."
I don't know. I think this episode they're gonna realize whatever they need is in the armory, and then the finale will be them actually going in
Unleashing
and
the monster.
unleashing it. Yeah.
And the shit hits the fan and they have a huge mess to clean up.
Mm-hmm.
As per usual.
Yep.
Yep. So I think that about does it. Nikki, where can the people find you?
On Twitter at LadyVenom24, LadyVenom24.
Excellent. B, where can the people find you?
Also on the Twitters at Huffy Puffy, HUFFITY, PUFFITY.
Mike, where can the people find you?
Almost forgetting to dance.
And your delayed dancing skills.
I'm like, oh wait, we dance now. That's right. Okay. You can find me on Twitter here-ish at Thilidrin.
Here-ish?
Here-ish. I was pointing in the general area.
Oh, okay. You can find me down below at Phenomenon, PHENOMEDOM. You can also find us all and more on Facebook, Gmail, G+, MySpace, Twitter, and right here on YouTube at /ASOTV podcast for some more podcasts for some of your favorite TV shows. Until next week, see you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I think my Twitter's become like a retweet bot.
Is
Retweet
it?
bot.
Retweet.